But now we're going to get into our hot topic, and we're talking about cancel culture, which is something that I feel like we talk about often. And we've talked about a few other big name celebrities who have been canceled last year and this. But more recently, there's been a few people who have popped up, and it begs the question, should we cancel culture, or is it warranted?
Yeah, and are people redeemable? Can you come back from that? Like what?
And if we're keeping cancel culture, what does that actually mean? But let's get into who's been canceled
recently
this week. So Doja Cat.
Let's jump right into that one.
So Doja Cat has been under fire for some racist comments made in a tiny chat room. She's been a part of this group for many years now, and she uses racial slurs all the time, particularly the N-word with a hard ER. And she's also naked about a third of the time. So there's a lot of nudity going on. And I mean, they're all adults. So that part is less concerning to me than the use of, racial slurs against your own, kind. But let's talk about that a little more. So Jasmine, for you, do you think Doja is canceled because of this?
It's funny that you say that, because I'm still in a place of, I wouldn't personally say that she is canceled. Mm-hmm. The situation surrounding the tiny chat stuff was shady. It obviously was something that was never meant to be shared with the public. Doesn't make it okay. And then she released a statement surrounding it, which was, you can tell that it was curated by her PR team, and I don't know how truly, what is the word I'm saying? Yeah, truly
sorry,
genuine, right? Or sorry she is or was. However, I do feel like in this day and age, she went about it in the best way possible, because the world is going to eat you up if you don't say anything. So you might as well say something and own up to it and wait for the backlash to blow over, because it will. You were just on top of the world a week or two ago. You're gonna live this through, and you're gonna make it out all right. But I just hope that she's learned from this. She's 24. She's young.
I feel like the reason this is happening to her is because she received that number one. She's super successful right now. But what I can't get behind with Doja is she seems super ingenuine.
That part.
And in a sense that it's not like her as a person. I think that she's almost as real as Cardi B. But what I mean in she feels ingenuine is that whenever she says sorry, she is not sorry. Right. She's only saying sorry because her team has said, look, Doja, it's not a good look. We can't have this on RCA. Clean it up. And she's like, well, I think it should be okay for me to show my boobs, but whatever, guys. Bye. Peace. Was that even an apology? And
right.
Naturally, I don't really care about her apologizing for showing her boobs. Do that. You do that all the time anyways. But you're a Black woman who profits off of being a Black woman. You live off of your thick curves in your butt, and you have the gall to sit in a chat with majority white people and tear us down. And especially in the time that we're in.
Right.
Doja, you got to explain yourself, because right now you're seeing an Uncle Tom, Auntie Tom. I don't know. I don't really like it. And I liked her post that she made because it did seem well crafted. I was like, that's what she needed to say. But then she went and did that live, and I was like, Doja, shut it down.
You're just beating a dead horse at this point.
You should have wrote the apology and then left it at that.
And then taken a few days to yourself or something,
Yeah, got off the internet.
She's still just oh, hey, y'all are mad at me? Here's me again, adding more fuel to the fire.
And she addressed all the things that people were saying on the internet, me showing my boobs, well, I'm going to get to that last because I'm going to do whatever I want. And then she's like, me saying the N-word, that's okay because I'm black. And really, it's not. That's not a very good argument at all. Like, that's a terrible argument. Let's try again. But again, like Jasmine said, she's super young and she's got a lot to learn, but I hope she learns from it. But she's done stuff in the past and she's not learned from that. So it's just kind of like insanity. Again.
Next person on our canceled list, we're going to talk about Lana Del Rey. And
Who?
Right. Lana Del Rey. She
is that a spot in California?
I hate you. So she recently made some statements in which people are casting her as racist. Now, it's short, so I'm going to read what was said just so that you guys can know what was. You can have your own thoughts.
You can have some context.
Yeah. Question for the culture. Now that Doja Cat, Ariana Grande, Camila Cabello, Cardi B, Kehlani, Nicki Minaj, and Beyonce have had number ones with songs about being sexy, wearing no clothes, the F word, cheating, etc. Can I please go back to singing about being embodied, feeling beautiful by being in love, even if the relationship is not perfect, or dancing for money, or whatever I want?
Benny's face.
Wow.
So
How arrogant.
Yeah.
It's very.
Man.
So like when we were reading it, our immediate thoughts weren't necessarily racist, but more along the lines of like, you're being very misogynistic towards female women. And also, why are you, a Caucasian woman, comparing yourself to a group of majority women of color?
When I read this, I immediately thought, not racist off jump, but kind of like, it seemed real Karen-esque, you know, like it's kind of like that would be a token Karen move. And I was like, Lana, that's not a good move for you. Also, who are you? Like, you're not even on the same level of any of those people, because I couldn't name one song of yours.
Summertime Sadness.
Oh, okay, I lied. I know that one.
I like that song.
So do I. I think it's in Great Gatsby.
As we digress.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's just like, of all the people she named, they're all women of color. They're all in a completely different category than her. And kind of like the content that they talk about in those genres would be that. So it's just kind of like,
a lot of these people are pop or like soul, R&B or whatever, and I don't know what her sound is, but it wouldn't be considered pop.
I wouldn't put her with the likes of Beyonce. Like, excuse me?
Stay in your lane, sweetie.
Maybe for like sales. That's about it. I mean, just quality of sales, but like, she was very specific to who she was.
The fact that she even named names.
Right.
Well, yeah, and in that group in general, there are some similarities, I guess you could call it, or whatever, but did you have to say that?
Right.
What made you say that? Like, in specific? Why did you why were you specific like that?
Right.
And I'll agree with you, because I'm like, Lana, nobody is stopping you from making this music. You should have done that instead of made this post, because this is bad.
Right. Right.
I don't know that I don't really care. She's canceled.
How old is she too, though?
Opinion.
She's 34.
With Lana, I just basically want her to learn from this, move on from it, and put out more music. I've listened to like they put on her latest body of work on At Work, and it's background music. You know, it's nothing. It's not like a Doja Cat song or like a Nicki Minaj song.
Or Nicki Minaj or Beyonce. The world doesn't stop when you drop an album. Like, I don't.
Moving on to our third canceled person or topic for this week before we go down a list of others, honorable mentions.
Yes.
Jimmy Fallon.
Good old Jimmy.
So back in 2000, when he was on Saturday Night Live, he was about I think
26.
Yeah, he was my age, so he was 26, mid-20s here. He did blackface in an attempt to impersonate or do an impression of Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what happened, how this came up. I feel like maybe because of all the
It was
other
a
stuff
clip
going on. Okay.
I'm sure it was Twitter.
Okay. Now,
trolls.
I only heard about this situation because he issued an apology.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't even know that this was happening until he spoke out about it. And I think he handled it very gracefully.
Yeah, I
think comparison to Doja Cat to him, his apology or what he said, I think he coined,
see?
you know? And that hits differently when you can tell that it's coming from like their voice. It's their, you know.
I think Jimmy Fallon is redeemable, and I like Jimmy, so I'm not quick to cancel him. I also have this, I have a hard time with cancel culture because a lot of it is stuff that's happened in the past. And while the stuff is not right that's happened, people evolve and change. I'm sure today Jimmy Fallon would never even think to do podcast, obviously because of like what's happened here. But just if this hadn't come out, I don't think that somebody that would try to profit off of that or put that out there. So it's just kind of like
20 years ago.
When do we let stuff die? Like these celebrities were normal people like us. We mess up. There's stuff that we've said, done, that if it were put out to the mass public, we would also be crucified. So it's like, how can they redeem themselves, and why can they make no mistakes prior to being famous?
You know, nobody's perfect. Okay. And that brings me to like the rest of the list. Like you were saying, you know, there's people that we were talking about last night whom we forgot all about, that people were like, you know, oh yeah, they're canceled. Jussie Smollett's situation.
Absolutely canceled.
People recently have been trying to bring up Robert Downey Jr. and Tropic Thunder.
I bring that up a lot.
That was definitely blackface.
That was an offensive movie across the board, because do you guys remember also Ben Stiller pretending to be like a
mentally
special?
Yes. He did play somebody with a disability. Yes. So, and that's something like where I feel like it can be argued or think that that's what the movie was. It was supposed to be ridiculous. And of course, why would you not cast a black person to play a black person in a film? You know, so it's one of those things where when it came out, we were too young, I think, to fully understand and grasp it. And I think as a culture, we were all in a different place. So it probably wasn't raising a whole bunch of red flags. But if you try to drop a movie like Tropic Thunder now, it would be...
No, it's so weird too, because watching it now is hard. Like, I'm pretty sure I watched it, you know, back when it first came out, and it was like, why did they put Robert Downey Jr. in blackface?
Yeah.
But now watching it, I'm like,
it's cringe.
It's cringy. Yeah. Like, this is actually bad and really offensive.
And speaking on that, actually, I do think Ben Stiller recently did face backlash for this character, for Simple Jack. I do think recently something was brought up surrounding that.
Good.
But next, Kanye.
He's canceled to
always.
me.
You know, he is still in MAGA country. Bye.
He's in the sunken place, and until he finds his way out, I can't.
Summer Walker continues to consistently be problematic. I hope and praise that her PR team gets her together because she needs help. Boozy, canceled, sir.
He's just a mess.
Anytime an adult is involving illegal activity with minors, canceled.
Yeah.
T.I., going and getting your adult daughter hymen checked, canceled.
But also celebrating your 15-year-old son for having sexual relationships, canceled.
Double standard and canceled. Chris Brown, it happened a while ago.
He
still beat Rihanna.
He beat Rihanna. He has anger problems. He's just a problem.
He needs help. The dabbing granny. Some of you guys might be familiar with her. Popular on social media for smoking Mary Jane. She's used the N-word in a very unfavorable way. And she's also white. Canceled. Stacey Dash in the sunken place. Canceled.
She's been in the sunken place since the 90s.
Gina Rodriguez, canceled.
She's also canceled.
Kevin Hart, canceled.
Yes.
And Oprah and Gail.
We can talk. I'm not going to say they're canceled.
We can talk about that.
But we have our eyes on both of y'all.
Right. And we're watching you very closely, okay?